Hello and welcome to Perspective Podcast. We're your 2024 hosts and this is just our first episode, a little bit of an introduction to ourselves so you're familiar with us for the forthcoming season. So I'm Jess.
And I'm Alex.
I'm Millie.
And I'm Ella.
And we all study a variation of the product design course here at Nottingham Trent. So I am on the product design BA course. As well as
I'm also on the BA course.
Alex.
And I do furniture and product design. So we're just going to ask a few questions about how we got into design. So Jess, do you want to start and what made you want to choose product design?
So it's kind of, there wasn't really a big kind of event or anything that kind of made me think, wow, I'm going to continue into design. But it's something I'd always enjoyed throughout school. I always like kind of the arts and crafts. I think you'd probably call it in like lower school, up into middle school, art, and then product design specifically. We had some really good members of staff and technicians there, which kind of helped me produce some what I thought was really good pieces of design back then. I think we made clocks and woodwork and stuff, kind of more traditional projects. And I really enjoyed that. Then into upper school, took it for GCSE and did well in it and I enjoyed it. So it just seemed natural to continue into A-level. And then from A-level into university, I think it was more of something that I knew I enjoyed, I would enjoy, and I also kind of had a bit of a flair for, so I thought it was naturally the best thing to pursue. Alex, what about you?
Yeah, I was quite similar actually. I'd always been into fine art and creative things, but I didn't think that it was possible to actually find a career that I could take forward with that. And I originally thought I was going to end up doing some kind of science degree.
Okay.
And then I ended up hearing about this course from my brother. He said that, have you looked at product design? And I hadn't even heard about it, which is crazy because products are everywhere. But yeah, and I looked into it and I was like, yeah, I think this is my kind of thing. And I really enjoyed the open day when I went to the interview and I was like, yeah, this is for me, I think. So yeah. What about you, Millie?
Yeah, very similar to both of you. I think one thing that I noticed about the course when I was applying for it, that it was not just about designing products, it was about designing services, systems and stuff as well, which I found really interesting because as someone who obviously, with anyone that kind of lives in the whole world, you experience products all the time, you experience services all the time, and I think it's quite key. I think the reason I realised I enjoyed design in the first place was because of badly designed products and services, and I felt like this course really offered a variety of like ways that you could almost try and fix the problems, and it wasn't just the traditional like shove product rates. But yeah, so very similar to you guys. I enjoyed it in school, sort of realised that you could do it as a degree, and continued with that. I tried to do a bit of an apprenticeship sort of. I looked into that route, but I just couldn't find anything that was suitable at that time. What about you?
Yeah, quite similar. Never ever wanted to go to uni. So I really enjoyed it at A-level and just ended up designing furniture. I started to look into like degrees in furniture design and actually found that it was such a thing. But yeah, I started at A-level just designing furniture. I didn't actually end up doing products. I ended up doing tables and things like that. So I thought I've kind of got a bit of a niche with that and I thought I'd just run with it. So yeah, and then I applied to Nottingham Trent. And then yeah, that's kind of how I got on the course.
It's funny that you both mentioned about not wanting to go to uni and rather doing an apprenticeship, because I also thought that for probably majority of year 12, lower 6th, I was kind of like, don't want to go, want to do an apprenticeship, because I don't think I really understood what like a product design course would entail. And it's kind of like, obviously you're not earning the money, you're paying the money, but you're still learning just as much in the social experience. But yeah, I think there probably is a gap within the education system for more apprenticeships within design that aren't engineering. Because I've got quite a few friends that went into kind of like CNC engineers and stuff, which is obviously vital to what we do, but it's just not got the same depth of the design basis to it.
Yeah.
So Jess, what sort of projects are you working on at the moment?
So for my dissertation, I'm looking into gender disparity within the product design industry. Still working on a title for it, but that's kind of the main umbrella term. So I'm conducting some really good research now, speaking to quite a few different groups of people, kind of seeing how different issues affect women, non-binary people, transgender people, kind of seeing the implications of that and how we can kind of mitigate those situations for people. And then for my self-directed, I'm looking at finding a way to enable sun protection to reduce the risk of skin cancer. So that's kind of only really started properly this week. Not too sure on the direction yet, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's something I'm quite passionate about, kind of like designing for a purpose and intent to help people, especially with kind of cancers and skin cancers. It's quite a sensitive and kind of high profile topic that probably not many people kind of actually know about. And like quite a lot of the research I've done is kind of quite shocking to myself as a very pale person. But yeah, hopefully that can result in something that's kind of educational and useful and can make a difference to people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What about yourself?
So I'm currently working on a dissertation that's around furniture repair and product repair and longevity, and kind of how the sort of shifting attitudes towards buying secondhand goods are changing, but then also people are starting to see more of a value in keeping things and repairing things themselves, and even passing them on to the next generation. So that's kind of the things that I'm looking at the moment. The dissertation. And then for my self-directed project, I am looking at also doing something similar, actually, to do with like family heirlooms.
Yeah.
I'll probably talk about that at some point on the podcast, because I've got stories about that, kind of how I've come to that idea about designing for that. And I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be. Might be some kind of chair maybe.
Okay.
But I'm definitely open to seeing where that leads me.
Is that kind of looking at like the emotional and sentimental value that products can hold, and kind of ingraining that in the materials it's crafted from? And such?
And just kind of like how products grow with families over time as well, and kind of get changed and customized and personalized over time.
Nice.
So yeah.
Perfect.
What are you, Millie?
I'm doing a dissertation on the importance of clay and pottery in education, and how it could be kind of looking at how it's defunded, but also trying to look at it in terms of, rather than quantifying how it's measured, trying to look at what it means to people, and really getting rich data from and it's really interesting at the moment, talking to so many potters and education experts about their experiences of it. And it kind of does a lot more than you expect in terms of social health as well. And on that respect, I kind of leaning into that on my major project. So I'm looking into how clay can benefit communities. I feel like it's kind of leaning towards people who have hand dexterity issues, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll see. I'm quite excited.
Nice. For my dissertation, I'm looking at neuroaesthetics. So it's kind of like the science behind why you find design like aesthetically pleasing, and like what it does in your brain to kind of help reduce anxiety and increase well-being within like workspaces. So I'm doing like lots of studies at the moment about taking groups of people into different areas like cafes and co-working spaces, and just kind of getting their stress levels and things like that, and seeing how it affects them, which is quite interesting. And for my self-directed, I'm looking at heritage furniture. So I'm from Sussex, so looking at kind of like the heritage of Sussex, and particularly looking at steam bending techniques and how I can kind of incorporate that into a piece of furniture.
Very cool.
Really good.
Yeah, I think that's quite different as well. It's kind of not typically what I'd kind of think of as like a modern day kind of manufacturing thing. Is it kind of like a dying trade?
So it's an endangered trade. So I'm looking at trugs, which are like these kind of like steam bent wooden bowls that people used to forage fruit with and stuff. But it's an endangered trade. So it's quite interesting to kind of look at the heritage of that, bring it back. Okay, so thank you for listening to this Perspective podcast. Hopefully you know a little bit more about us now. And do tune in for the next few episodes when we're talking to industry experts and interviewing lecturers and people on our course. But we hope that you enjoy these episodes as much as we enjoy making them. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.